Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado. You're watching All Up in Your Business, where today I'm going to walk you through the steps involved in forming an LLC in Florida. Before we get into all of that though, a couple of really important things I need to cover. Number one, I am a lawyer, but I am not your lawyer. More importantly, I am not licensed in Florida. So the stuff I talk about in this video is not a substitute for actual legal advice, especially not Florida legal advice, because I'm not licensed to give it. If you need help with any legal situation, including forming an LLC in Florida, you should consult with a lawyer who is licensed in Florida. But there are a lot of people who live in Florida and a lot of people who are interested in forming an LLC there, which is why I'm making this video. Point number two, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our friends over at ZenBusiness for partnering with us and sponsoring this episode of All Up in Your Business. You can learn more about ZenBusiness and check them out using the affiliate link down in the description. All right, that's all out of the way. I'm going to do a quick overview of the steps involved in this LLC formation process. Then we'll kind of dive in and get more into the nitty-gritty of it all. So if you are going to be forming an LLC in Florida, here's what you need to do. Number one, choose a name for the LLC. Then you're going to want to appoint a registered agent for the LLC. Then we're going to file the articles of organization. Once that's done, we're going to create our operating agreement for the LLC. Then we're going to apply for an EIN or a federal tax ID number. Then we're going to file the BOI or beneficial ownership information report. And finally, we are going to ensure that we maintain and keep up with any ongoing compliance requirements. Sounds easy enough, right? Of course. And you know, you can always do these things yourself. Of course, though, best practice, what I recommend is working with a lawyer to help you through the process of forming an LLC in any state. But I know that's not always a realistic option for everybody. So if you can't or don't want to work with a lawyer, then in my opinion, the next best option is to work with a trusted and reliable source like ZenBusiness. ZenBusiness is a really easy all-in-one platform that's going to give small business owners everything they need to start and grow a business. ZenBusiness handles all of the heavy lifting, so you can focus on building the business of your dreams. There are a lot of services out there that offer similar stuff, but in my opinion, ZenBusiness is really the best. And there's a few reasons that I'm a really big fan of ZenBusiness. First of all, they're gonna make it easy for you. You don't have to be a lawyer like me or spend hours and hours researching. They're gonna guide you through every step of the formation process. You just answer a few simple questions and then let ZenBusiness handle the rest. And then once the business is formed, don't worry, they're not gonna leave you hanging. You have to stay on top of things, stay compliant. It's not just the formation that's important. ZenBusiness offers reliable registered agent service to make sure you never miss an important legal document. They can help you with preparing the operating agreement and getting that EIN that I mentioned. We'll talk about both of those more in just a sec. They even offer a worry-free compliance service that reminds you of important filing deadlines, so your LLC will always be in good standing and you don't have to worry about it. Worry-free compliance. One of the best things in my opinion, because I know, especially right now, a lot of us are working with a tight budget, especially if we're starting a business, is ZenBusiness's affordable and transparent pricing. They have some of the most competitive prices out there. In fact, ZenBusiness's starter package starts at $0 plus filing fees. You still have to pay the filing fees, but $0 for their starter package. So really, ZenBusiness is accessible at any budget. And ZenBusiness has clear upfront pricing, so you always know exactly what you're paying for, and you're not gonna have to worry about any hidden or surprise fees. Starting a business, this whole thing can be really challenging, but ZenBusiness is gonna make it a lot easier than just doing it yourself. So if you're ready to take that next big step, check out my affiliate link down in the description to learn more and get started with ZenBusiness. Like I mentioned, the very first step in forming the LLC in Florida is deciding on a name. What are we gonna name this thing? There are a few things we need to keep in mind. Number one, the name has to be unique and distinguishable. And there are a few things that Florida in particular does not consider to be distinguishable with names. Suffixes like corporation, corp, company / co, these aren't distinguishable. So if I was going to form my LLC as 180 Law Co. Inc., that if there's already a 180 Law Co. LLC, those two would not be distinguishable. Inc. and LLC are basically the same. Definite and indefinite articles like the, a, an aren't distinguishable. So 180 Law Co., the 180 Law Co., and a 180 Law Co. would not be considered different. The word and an ampersand symbol aren't considered different. Singular, plural, and possessives aren't distinguishable, and punctuation and symbols. So keep this in mind as you're trying to come up with a unique and distinguishable name. The name also has to end in either limited liability company, LLC, or L.C. This is a pretty common requirement amongst most, if not all, states. And then finally, the name can't contain any wording that implies a connection with a state or federal government, or that it's organized for an unauthorized purpose. So for example, you can't use the word bank in your LLC name if you're not actually a bank. It's a good idea to do a preliminary search, make sure the name you have in mind is available, and you can do this online at search.sunbiz.org. All right, check, we have the name figured out. Next thing, appoint a registered agent. What is a registered agent, you ask? I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. A registered agent is a person or entity that is appointed to receive legal and official documents on behalf of the LLC. If the LLC is sued, for example, the person suing the LLC will have to serve the LLC with paperwork, court paperwork, and the registered agent is who will receive and accept that service of process on behalf of the LLC. The registered agent needs to have a physical location in Florida and should generally be available during work hours, like normal business hours, to receive any important documents. You can act, if you're the owner, the member, you can act as your own registered agent for the LLC, or you can use a registered agent service like that which is offered through ZenBusiness. And really, I recommend using a registered agent service like ZenBusiness. It makes things easier. You don't have to worry about like getting paperwork at your home if you work from home, or making sure you're available. You don't have to worry about potentially missing some important legal document. So really make things easier on yourself. Use a trusted service like ZenBusiness for the registered agent. All right, check again. We've got the registered agent figured out. Now we can move on to the big fun thing of filing the Articles of Organization. This is the document that is filed with the state that creates the LLC, brings the LLC to life. The Articles of Organization can be filed with the Florida Department of State at sunbiz.org. There is a filing fee for this. Right now, it is a $125 filing fee. There are a few other options for, like, I think expedited filing or maybe getting certified copies, but if you don't need any of that, it's that $125 filing fee. Let's take a look at the Articles of Organization and kind of walk through it together. Again, you can find this for online filing at sunbiz.org. So here we've got the Articles of Organization for forming a Florida limited liability company. We can enter an effective date if we don't want the Articles of Organization to be effective upon filing. That's optional. The filing fee, a couple of additional potential fees. So we're going to need, important, of course, we talked about it, the name of the LLC. For funsies, as an example, I'm going with 180 Law Co. LLC. We need to enter the principal place of business, which has to be a street address. I've got a fake address here, of course. Mailing address, if there is a different address that you want to use as a mailing address, enter that here. We have to provide the information, the name and address of the registered agent. In this fictitious situation, I am acting as the registered agent myself, but if you've appointed a registered agent like with ZenBusiness, you'd enter their name and address here. You must provide the registered agent signature here as well. There is a section to provide any other optional provisions like a purpose, statements. Like it says, these are generally optional. You don't have to put anything here unless you are forming a professional limited liability company, a PLLC, then you have to enter the purpose in this section. But for purposes of this demonstration, we're not going to do that. A little bit of advisory information about the annual report, which I'll talk about in a sec. You need to enter your contact info, the correspondence name and email address, and then an electronic signature of the member or an authorized representative. And then down at the bottom, we have to include the name and address of each of the managers or authorized persons, authorized members, or authorized representatives. In my fictitious situation, I am the only person involved. I am the only authorized member. So that is my title, authorized member here, and name and address. If there are other members or managers or authorized representatives or persons, you enter all that information here. And that's it. Not too complicated, right? Then hit continue down at the bottom. You can review all the information before submitting it. Make sure everything looks correct. Double check that all of this is how it should look. Hit continue. We've got a document tracking number here. We know what the filing fee is going to be. And then we can enter our payment information and create an account if we already have one to take care of the payment. So once that's all submitted, you've submitted the payment and everything, we're gonna have to wait. Current processing times with Florida is about 1 to 2 weeks right now. So that is a big box we get to check. We've submitted the paperwork with the state to create the LLC. Is our work done? No, of course it's not. There's more we need to do. The next thing to do is to create an operating agreement. What is the operating agreement? The operating agreement is kind of like the internal governing document for the LLC. It's the roadmap, the blueprint of how this LLC is going to operate. How is it going to be run? How is it going to be managed? How are decisions going to be made? How are people, the members or the managers, the owners, going to be paid? What happens if there's a disagreement amongst the people who run the LLC? All of that ideally is going to be addressed in the operating agreement. Florida doesn't require it. It's not required by law. Some states require it. Florida doesn't. But even if it's not required, it's still a really important part of this LLC formation process. ZenBusiness can, of course, help you with that step as well, with getting that operating agreement set up. Check. Once we've got the operating agreement done, we're going to go apply for an EIN or a tax ID number. This is like a social security number for the LLC. We can do this for free through the IRS at irs.gov, or of course, if we're using the services of ZenBusiness, they can take care of that for us too. Once those are taken care of, we can go on to filing the BOI or Beneficial Ownership Information Report with FinCEN. Now, there has been a lot of back and forth, up and down, with BOI being required, not required. As of the date that I'm filming this, March 2025, BOI is required, it is in effect, and it is a thing that we have to do. So after the LLC is formed, we need to file this BOI report. You can do it for free through fincen.gov. If you don't want to deal with it, then again, of course, ZenBusiness can help you with that too. Now, after all these steps, some businesses may need to submit a Florida business tax application. This doesn't apply to all businesses, and again, I'm not licensed in Florida, so I don't know the specific ins and outs of it. But in particular, if your business is going to be selling taxable goods or services, if there's going to be some kind of sales and use tax applicable to your business, then you're going to have to submit this business tax application. This can be done online at floridarevenue.com. And the form you're going to want to look for is DR/1. And with that, we pretty much got our business. Our LLC is formed. It's living. We've done what we need to do. But of course, like I said, the fun doesn't stop there. Just because you formed the LLC, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. An LLC is something we have to keep up with. Every state has some kind of annual or regular filing requirement, and Florida is no exception. There is an annual report that has to be filed in Florida with the Department of State every year. It's due between January 1 and May 1 each year, and the filing for that currently is $138.75. So you're going to want to make sure you keep up with that, because if you miss that filing window, there's a hefty fee. I think I saw in the articles of organization, it's $400 if you miss that due date window. So don't forget it. Make sure you file that annual report. Even better, utilize ZenBusiness's worry-free compliance service so you don't have to think about and worry about, oh my God, I didn't file my annual report. I have to pay an extra $400. Oh boy, avoid that. Just use ZenBusiness to remind you, take care of it for you, so you don't have to think about it. I am all about making things easy on ourselves, especially when we're starting a business, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy, and running the business ain't easy. It is very stressful. Take it from me. I get stressed out all the time. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Use ZenBusiness's worry-free compliance. Make it easy. Okay, that's all for this episode, folks. Like I said, check my affiliate link down in the description if you want to learn more about ZenBusiness and how they can help you with starting and growing and running your business. Highly recommended. If you learned a thing or two, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check the description for some more information and resources. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.